live. Okay. Thought we'd have a story time, if you will. Basically, okay. What the hell? Okay. Damn it. Okay, here we go. Basically, I got some neighbors that are from South Central Mexico, and they're really good people. We get along pretty decently, and usually when they're having a barbecue or some of their families up and I'm walking my dog, hashtag Bentley the Bushcraft dog. I say hey, they say hey, we get into a conversation and it usually leads in me trying food or them teaching me something, me teaching them something, just a general hangout. Well, this time they had some people up and they're descendants of Mayans, so I guess you could say they're Mayan. They're like Mexican Mayan, whatever. Anyway, that's totally beyond the point. Anyway, we were talking, and um, they was making tarantula, so I ate some tarantula, kissed my wife with a tarantula fang in my mustache. It was great, let me tell you. But anyway, I digress. We started talking, and one of them found out that I was a survival instructor, so he wanted me to show him a way of building fire that he had never seen. See if I could. And in return, he would show me the proper use of a machete. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So I sat down and I demonstrated a hand drill fire and a bow drill fire, and I believe a fire plow. And he looked at it and he watched me, and through broken English and no Spanish besides Google Translate and whatever my neighbor could translate, or did translate, I taught him how to make a hand drill fire, a bow drill fire, and a fire plow. Well, after I did it a couple of times, my hands was all sore. He brought over his son and grandson, who didn't speak a lick of English, and had them watch while I went through the whole process again. But he did it. Like he did the bow drill fire, the hand drill fire, and the fire plow. I just corrected, here and there what needed to be corrected, and then showed him ways to improve his technique. Use Google Translate to tell him what to look for in plants, what plants are you need to use, etc. And he in turn went and got a machete that his cousin had and taught me all about the gringo grind, as they call it, because they only sharpen like the first 3 to 4 inches of the end of their machete, the tip, and the rest of it has basically a false edge. So that way, when they go through, they can use basically the bottom end to split wood and stuff like that, and they use uh, wrist flick motions to cut down vines. So I was like, well, what do you do when you need to carve something? Because we pull it down close to the handle and carve. Well, what they do is they take their hand and they just grab a hold of the blade because it's not sharpened anyway, within the first, or after the first 3 or 4 inches. And they just sharpen it. And he was like, we get our first machete at the age of around 4. And most people use that same machete for the rest of their lives. He's like, if we're out somewhere, we'll just, sit down and carve eating utensils, use it to make our food. We cook with it. We use it every day. And so after, I got used to using machete, he showed me the proper wrist action and, why you have tassels on the sheath, which is when you're walking, they absorb the energy so that it doesn't flap around on your side. With, he wanted to have a carving competition for a spoon. Sweet. and he had brought some wood up that they was going to make some furniture with, called walking palm. On a Scandi grind, after about 5 minutes of carving a spoon, my edge looked like a saw. It just ate it up while he's sitting there just knocking it out. And I learned right then that Scandi may be king in the northern hemisphere. Down south in the jungles, it's not. And you cannot touch a child with their machete skills because they do it all the time. But what I'm getting at in the lesson behind this little story that I tuck you on is you can share knowledge and learn from anyone now. We have Google Translate, which, I would say is about 80% effective, but that's still effective enough to pass on the knowledge. So don't let language hold you back. Don't let culture hold you back. Seek out new ways of doing things. Because when I showed him that bow drill fire, hand drill fire, and fire plow, he's gonna go back and show his family. Now I know the proper way of using a machete and what to look for and how the grind should be, so I can show mine. It's all about sharing that tribal knowledge and about learning from each other. So don't dismiss that. Embrace other cultures. Okay? So this is just a quick impromptu live video, something I was thinking about today as I'm getting ready to basically ruin the edge on some of my machetes and make it, a true machete grind and not a gringo grind or an unsafe grind, but they call it a gringo grind. But I hope you enjoyed this. Use Google Translate. Get out there. Love you.